News just in, the Constitutional Court will deliver the much-awaited judgment on the legal challenges to the Electoral Amendment Act on Monday. For more on the story, we now speak to SABC News reporter Canny Maphanga. Canny, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. A lot has been said about the delay in handing down this judgment, but at least now we know that the judgment will be handed down on Monday. Tell us about the importance of the judgment and also the legal challenge that has been brought to the amendment.
Well, good morning to you, Algin, and to the viewers at home. Indeed, the time has come for independents to find out whether they will run in a manner that they see constitutionally fit. You may remember that the main issues there was the 50-50 split in the National Assembly and the 15% threshold. So what the independents were saying that when you have this 50-50 split in the amendments, it then doesn't level the playing field because it creates a bigger task for them to just get one seat in the National Assembly, where political parties almost remain the same. So for them, they don't enjoy that same comfort as independents that political parties have when they contest. And then, of course, there was that 15% threshold, which the One SA movement, as a friend of the court, argues that it was a barrier to entry for independent candidates. And we've understood that that is there to ensure that those serious contenders are narrowed down for the upcoming elections when we see those independent contests. So what we'll see on Monday at 12 when the Constitutional Court delivers that judgment is whether those amendments are constitutional or not. Well, now the question may arise from the viewers at home is that if the Constitutional Court comes to the conclusion that some of these amendments are irrational and invalid, well then what happens next? So, of course, we know that when you make these amendments, it's a long parliamentary process that takes place. We could possibly see a scenario where it's understood that we have to have the elections next year. So if independents are able to run in a manner that is constitutional fit, you may see that there's a suspension of invalidity, as well as the Constitutional Court giving the relief that may be appropriate for the elections to run. However, if the respondents succeed in convincing the Constitutional Court that this is the most constitutional and fit manner in which independents will be able to run the general elections, then we will see those amendments still stand. But that will all be determined on Monday when the Constitutional Court delivers that judgment.
Yeah, and a very important part to this, of course, is that if the Constitutional Court does find in favor of the applicants, is that you now have to amend the Act, and having to amend the Act also means a public process. I was actually speaking to one expert who said that the possibility is that the court could actually do a read-in where they say that for the period of invalidity, which would be suspended, this would be the current law that is then put in place. But we also know that the Constitutional Court is very averse to postponing an election, considering what happened back in 2021 with COVID-19 and also what happened back in 2016 with the clockware matter before the local government elections.
Indeed, Algin, as you correctly stated, but we know that in the history of looking at the theme of electoral reforms, you won't get everything right in one go. And we have a changing political landscape, a changing electoral system. Of course, it will take some time before South Africa gets it right. And as you correctly stated, if there is a suspension of invalidity, then you can see a read-in where independents are able to at least go to 2024 in a manner that they see constitutionally fit. However, those electoral reforms will still have to take place over time. But what we understand is that 2024 we must go to elections, and we must ensure that this landmark movement, or landmark case of New Nation movement rather, which has seen independent candidates be able to contest at the national and provincial level, that this development is realized in the 2024 elections. So it'll be interesting to see what the Constitutional Court determines on Monday at 12 when they deliver that judgment.
Thank you so much, Canny Maphanga, the SABC News reporter, on the media advisory that has just come through from the Constitutional Court that the judgment on the amendment to the Electoral Act will be handed down on Monday.